Do you ever feel like that you're saying everything right, but you're still getting ignored? You're not alone. We all know the feeling of being left in the background, even when you have something important to say. The truth is, you probably think you need to be better, wiser, smarter. No, that's the number one thing that kills what you're doing right now. It's about creating moments that let people remember you. And I'm going to show you 4 powerful strategies that Donald J. Trump uses himself personally to create moments that people remember. Because we all know a few legendary quotes of him. The American dream. I will make America great again. The red hat he's always wearing. Or, personally favorite.
You're known for your terrible haircut, and now I can see why. Your hair sucks. You look like Justin Bieber caught on fire.
What's the difference between a wet raccoon and Donald J. Trump's hair? A wet raccoon doesn't have $7 billion fucking dollars in the bank.
That are things he said or did that made people remember him. There are strategies, and I will uncover them for you. So, let's get into the first of these 4 points. Now, as for the first point, say things simply, not fancy. Do you ever had those conversations where someone with very complicated words and you're listening and you're impressed, but at the other end you're thinking, what did he just say? It's the same as the law. Here in the Netherlands, I wanted to join the police force. And there was a test and there was a small section of a law I needed to read and make a decision based on that. It was so complicated that I couldn't understand it without reading it 5 times. That is what Donald J. Trump does not do. He keeps it simple. Why? As one fact is true, our intelligence when it comes to reading and understanding words or sentences is declining. So why use complicated vocabulary when you can just use simple words that make sure that everyone understands? So instead of saying this steak was very delicious and everything, it was well prepped. No, this steak was great. Just how I wanted. You need to reframe your sentence that a 12-year-old can understand it. Because if they can understand it, everyone above that age will also understand it. So do not use big words, complicated sentences, or anything. Keep it simple. Simple does not mean bad. If you need to communicate something, first of all, keep it short. That's one of the things he uses as well. Keep it short. Why a whole book of things if you just can make it short? So, for example, if I have walked my dog, did the dishes, did the laundry, and then water the plants. Instead of making a whole thing. So first of all, I've walked with the dog. Then I did the laundry, which was very much. Then after that, I did the dishes, and then I watered the plants as well. No, keep it simple. So I've done this: walk the dog, laundry, dishes, water the plants. Very easy. Everyone understands you immediately, and there is no course they can direct into a different path. If you keep it simple, their mind cannot make a different path. It's not like they're going on the same track and at some point they just take an exit because you leave the room for interpretation. Hard word. So that is why keep it simple, not fancy, and keep it short as possible. That's funny because in school they make you do these 4,000 words essays. And then you will just add something, and then it's like, yeah, but it is not good. Yeah, if I remove this, do you think it's better? Yes. It does not meet your requirements of the word count. That is one of the dumbest things they have invented in school, a word count. Why? If your piece goes degrading, why do you want to more complicate it? Add some bullshit? It's not going to work. So the key part to this, people connect easily with people they can understand. So if you have someone who's sitting here at vocabulary, you're sitting here, he needs to lower his vocabulary to your point. And that way you can communicate. That is one of the things you need to keep in mind. And when you use those straightforward ideas personally to them, it makes them feel they're valued. And that is one of the best things you can achieve in a connection, relationship, friendship, you can name it. Now, the second thing Trump uses is he talks about a few ideas, a handful of ideas most of the time. Why? Because if you keep repeating it, it will stick into your mind. It's the same way you study for something. You repeat it, and then after a moment, you remember it. But if you go from point A to Z, and in between you take every letter of the alphabet, you have now talked about 26 different points. Good luck remembering all of them. They only remember the ones that are the most related to you, and not the important message. So what do you need to do? Do something, say something for at least 6 months. And that way people remember that you're doing this. So it's the same for me with YouTube. I'm doing it. So after a time, they go like, yeah, he's a YouTuber. That's why YouTube is getting recognized. People follow them, and then they repeatedly see that face is linked to that YouTube channel. So their brain connects those two dots. It's like, he is that YouTuber. That's how it goes. It's the same with a name and a person. If you repeatedly say that name to the person, it will just stick in your mind. That is one small tip. If you meet someone, just repeat their name in your mind. And if you can make it even better, say, you're Jonathan. Hi, I'm Rick Brown. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm Jonathan. So, Jonathan, how are you doing? I'm doing great. What about you? Nothing really special, but Jonathan, have you done anything today? Anything special that you did? If you just keep it 2-3 times that you say their name, first of all, it makes them feel personalized to them, but then it will stick in your mind. And that is why it comes to this point. Humans remember something when it's mostly used. So if you just have this sentence that's being used most of the time, you will remember that sentence. But not those 1,000 other sentences. No, just that one sentence. By focusing on one message, you make it easier for people to recognize who are, and what you stand for. Repetition isn't annoying, it's memorable. That is the key part to this point. Use the repetition. I know it sounds very counterintuitive because you only use it for school or work if you need to learn something. But it is the truth. If you want to learn something, if it is someone's name, get a message across, learn a whole different topic within your industry, you need to repeatedly search on it, go on it, talk about it. That is why it is the best thing you can use. Even if you meet someone, like I said, just repeatedly say their name a few times, and then it will be far more easier. And then you're not like, what is your name again? Because that is one of the most shameful moments you can ever experience. Now, as for the third thing, people remember small signs, and they notice them far more easier than 1,000 words. That's always said, a picture tells 1,000 words at least, but more than 1,000 words. That is what you need to do. In Trump's speeches, he always wears a red hat. So at some point, people just link that speech to that hat. Make America great again. Use a red hat. That is what people notice them. It's the same with, I said, with a YouTuber. You recognize that face is linked to that. A famous person. Let's take Adele. If you see her, you know she's linked to that because she's that image. It's the same with clothing or things you do, say, continuous. I'm always wearing white or black. So people will link you to that. And it's not trying to be boring. I just like classical things. Not futuristic, even though I'm driving a Tesla then. But it's just like minimalistic things. That is a Tesla. It is minimalistic. So people will associate that with you. So if you're a clumsy type of person that just trips over again, if it continues, then people will say you're that clumsy type of person. If you're always shy, then people will associate shy with you. That is how it works. Visual meanings are more impactful than words, eventually. Because they see it, they save it in their minds, and then if it continues, it goes. That is how easy it gets. And that's what you need to do. Because we are visual creatures, eventually. That's why we have those two dots sitting here. And when you have a small symbol, a small thing or something that you really use a lot, it's far more easier for people to link you to that. And that is what you want. It's not a bad thing. It is one of the best things you can have. And the last thing Trump uses is strong emotions. And what are strong emotions? Pride, anger, hope, fear, happiness. There are 5 strong emotions. So he uses them and plays on them. Because that is what you want. When you're fully convicted of something, the words he said went into your mind and that resonated so perfectly with you that you immediately follow it. That's what those online gurus are doing. They go into the fears, the desires you have, and then they build on it. So if it is starting a business, you want to be rich or you want 10k a month, but you do not want to have the fear of using your own money or you do not have any startup capital, and they will go on it. They build an entire tree around it, and then everything feels for you very safe. That is what they're doing. That is what Trump is using. And that is what you need to do too. With excitement, with fear, with losses, just act out of pure emotions. Because people can far more relate to that. We as humans can feel emotions. That is one of our strongest things. Because emotions let us play us. Emotions have influence on us. And most of people cannot control them. So if you especially play on that, they will just be brainwashed following you into everywhere. Because people do not always remember facts, but the emotional feeling they got, the connection that was created instantly, that is why they follow you. And that is what you need to achieve. It's the same with if someone cries their heart out and you're understandable and you say, I know I can relate to that, everything. They feel valued, but most importantly, they have the feeling that there is a bond, a deep bond created. And they will just do that continuously. And they will just follow you in everything that they can think of. Now to summarize this whole video, very short. Use simple words. Ideas people can easily understand. Avoid overcomplicating things. The more straightforward you are, the better. Repetition is recognition. Focus on one message and repeat it often. Consistency helps people recognize and remember you far more easier. Small signs are unforgettable. Add small unique things to your style or content, like a signature or phrase or symbol. People remember the little ideas that make you stand out. And emotions is the connection. Share real emotions, excitement, frustration, passion, not just facts alone. Emotions are what make people care and follow you. And that's what I'm sharing too in these videos. Just the emotion that went into this journey. And of course, I want to add as well as in my journey. And sometimes there is nothing relatable. But yet I'm sharing what I have learned. That emotions go into it. Or the feeling that you had when you were at school and a teacher that comforted you, it felt like a deep connection. That are things that I've experienced and you've experienced. And that is how we create a bridge of connection. So with that, I hope to see you in my next video.